Procrastination, cowardice, addiction. Procrastination, cowardice, addiction. Procrastination, cowardice, addiction. In this video, we're going to talk about procrastination, cowardice, and addiction all in one same timing without making any sense at all, without leaving or changing scenes like an edit in Spice video editor on my mobile phone. Not that I don't want to do that, but I can still put this in Spice for no reason, anyways. Just to format it differently, I guess. That does it. We're gonna attempt this weird experiment for just this video. Don't worry about the final episode or more. What if there's even more than 4 episodes of this Cursor Saga mini series? But yeah, we're gonna try to attempt again to talk about procrastination, cowardice, and addiction as if it's the exact same thing. And it's gonna be confusing at first, but if you get to understand what I'm saying about it, then maybe you'll understand where I'm going with it. So, but to be serious about this topic for at least 10 seconds, it is indeed about the third of 4 Cursor Saga videos. It is about the subjective cons, which are indeed sub procrastination, cowardice, addiction. So, what is procrastination dash cowardice dash addiction? Well, procrastination dash cowardice dash addiction is when you. This is gonna be funny. It's when you, by definition, take too long to do something that you intended to do, which technically won't matter because that's the results thing, as mentioned in other videos. At the same time as dash makes you someone who's afraid by a poor discipline, who is again then dash. I didn't explain that for that. Again dash someone who is chained to the idea that you think you need something that you actually don't, which could seem possible for most other things, including finances. Not gonna lie, not including insurance. Ooh, that's deep. Maybe for now. But you think that you're chained to something that you think you need, but you actually don't need it. You make yourself believe you think you need something that you can't live without, basically. That you think, at least in your mind, you might think that way, and that's all. That last part especially was relevant to subjective. So, like, gosh, those are all 3 cons of subjectiveness. Now we got the silly experiment out of the way. Let's explain these things one more time in my own words, separately and respectively. Respective as in literal, not the fucking feeling. Procrastination. I think of it being more like as a con for subjectiveness, because anyone who's ever been, whether or not they've been hard on themselves, not even me, if they've been hard on themselves for not doing the things that they should do, if whether it's objective or not, doesn't have to only be objective if it's outside of subjectiveness. Maybe that makes sense. But one of the biggest problems with being someone who is only invigorated by what they do, and who is only working on the factors of things that seemingly were discomforting for fuel, but actually were comfortable anyways. They still have to try to figure out how the mind works in that favor of action rotation or not. But when they procrastinate on things, they don't know any better. And that could be literal for things that are subconscious. That could be uh, pejorative for things that are not. Didn't make sense. Right? Pejorative for things that are still conscious, and you name it. Figurative for whatever else in that conscious era. You see what I'm saying right now? Because maybe it doesn't make sense. Still makes sense to me, but I'm not trying to take advantage of that. But yeah, basically, if that didn't make sense, then yeah, procrastination does affect a lot of things in your life. When you're someone who does not affect your own life in a reality-based sensitivity, if that's a sensibility, then being someone who takes too long doing things can hurt you. On to cowardice. The most random example I can make right now that is still oddly specific. In the second parts of camping movies, Jack Sparrow is called a coward for not fighting for his crewmates, and his compass tells him where he wants most, and he goes back to the ship and all that. He's considered a coward for, as according to what was the spawn, he's considered a coward for not fighting for that truth and all that. And long story short, he does save them. He even saves himself some trouble by killing the Kraken and dying in the process, but reviving anyways, thriving even when he was dead, and then going back to life anyways. My point is, cowardice comes in many forms. Maybe I didn't play that before, but cowardice comes in many forms. You're someone who may not want to believe that you are actually afraid of things, but you may still be avoided as well on accident. That's the same thing with procrastination too. Procrastination and cowardice both imply that you're avoidant in a way that, whether it's intentional or not, which it technically should already be intentional, If that doesn't sound objective enough, that's how I am. But cowardice is another kind of avoidance style that even if it isn't on purpose, you're still accidentally avoiding things that you that are implying fear of what you didn't want to do because you were scared of what it would mean to do it or not do it or not succeed but not have you. Finally, we are out at addiction. Now, for those of you who know, yeah, this is the most sensible, serious thing I can say whole video. Uh, uh, I am actually a pornography addict myself, so that's also an example solidified as well. I'm a pornography addict. I'm not ashamed of it. I just say it because it's literally draining my life force energy to be PMOing all the time. But I'm doing better now. I'm like on a 4-day streak for no advancing retention, so that explains a little bit how I do these things, anyways, doesn't it? As according to this morning, 4 days of streak, not the kind of days, maybe the days count. Kind of thing. Anyways, those of you who know, it's gonna get blown my alt anyway. So, but addiction, as far as a subjective con, it should be implied that addiction's supposed to be bad by its own merit, default to begin with. Yeah, for starters. Uh, in the first place, there is an ideal that it could express why addiction can be a good thing, and then explain as a subjective con. Even then, could give a perspective as well. But it's supposed to be considered a bad thing. Maybe not 100% a bad thing. There are some things people want to make taboo because they know that there's at least only so many things that can make 100% taboo on purpose, even as a discipline, and that'd be good. In terms of semen retention, that's very understandable. Even sexual and spiritual energy, when it's abused, misused, and abused, which is implied with the main number of things how people see that shit. When they're talking about how the on station, whatever, when they're talking about how they misuse the energy that they have, including their spiritual and sexual energy, that is a conditioned program thing, brainwashing. Does that not again that on YouTube right now? Not YouTube would be too bad for that, maybe not. But addiction as a subjective con means that it does happen to be the case that people who are addicts in general, drugs, smartphones, alcohol, etc., again, serious and sensible examples I'm giving here, um, and even concrete examples, they do affect how someone can orient themselves and think, and can course their own brainwash and program their own selves to be someone. See, that's value I'm giving. Brainwashing and programming their own selves in a positive light, if that can be a thing, because it is. Trust me. That is how they are able to make sure that even if they're going to be brainwashed per se, at least you're doing it on your own terms and doing it hopefully positively, in my opinion. So those are the 3 subjective cons I listed for the third of 4 Cursor Saga videos, quote unquote. I keep making this weird, and I still made this weirder. But yeah, that was uh, procrastination, cowardice, and addiction. Take care, everyone. I won't even end on 8 minutes. See, here you go.